Hello, good morning, and yeah, I've used my spray, my psoriasis spray last night. But anyway, hello, welcome back to the channel where today's video is something different. So, as you know, my favorite author is Darren Shan because I've done two reviews of half of his book series so far of the Saga of Darren Shan, and it just so happens that he has an event on today or Saturday, as when this goes up on the Monday. And I obviously have my ticket booked, so I'm gonna go to this event. I'm gonna get to meet him finally in person, because I did go to an event when I was a kid, but that was my introduction to him. I hadn't read any of his books then, and I listened to the him read a bit from Lord Loss, and then that's what got me. And then of course I tried reading Lord Lost and I couldn't get into it. And then I picked up Tunnels of Blood, which is my favorite book of his, and that's what spawned all of this. So yeah, so it's 8 o'clock. I'm up, I'm showered, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to feed this cat, then I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to pick what books I'm going to bring up to be signed. I'm also bringing the Blu-ray of the movie, because I actually rewatched this last night. And yeah, so I'm going to get him to sign the Blu-ray as well. So come along with me for my trip up to Dublin for this. Okay, so here is most of my Darren Shan collection. Some hidden away because, well, they're where I have to put them, it's not big enough for it. So, as much as I would love to have all of these signed, except for Lord Loss and Zombie Baby, because if I pull Zombie Baby out here, as you can see, it's already signed, but it's dedicated to Owen. I got this in a charity shop, and it was the exact same with Lord Loss. So I technically already have two Darren Shan signatures, but they're not made out to me. So, I've been waiting for this moment. So I'm going to bring the Cirque du Freak. This Cirque du Freak, if I can get it out. Hold on. So I'm bringing this Cirque du Freak book, because I know I'm going to get another copy of that. And that's simply because I'm getting this signed for a friend. But the main one that I'm going to bring from the Saga of Darren Shan is Tunnels of Blood, Trials of Death, from the Larnton Crepsey series. I think it's either going to be Birth of a Killer or Brothers to the Death, or both. From the Lord Loss, from the Demonata series, it's going to be Blood Beast and Beck. And then from the Zombie series, that's where I'm at a little bit of an impasse, because I think it's Zombie Family is my favorite one. I think it's this one, or is it Clans? That's what I need to figure out, and then I think that'll be it.
so you know, like put the event on. I wasn't sure how many we'd get. I was hoping maybe 30, 40 people. So it's wonderful that so many. We've actually run, there would have been more, but it ran out of chairs. So I had to cut it there. So yeah, this is the 25th anniversary of the release of Cirque Freak. It came out in January 2000. Very first copies in the UK and Ireland. Well, over a quarter century ago now. So I thought it'd be lovely to go out this year and go and tour a little bit of a tour and just meet some old fans. I'm sure some of you were a lot younger when you read these books and have grown up with them. I can remember, you know, 2000, I was 27. Yeah, still 27 when it came out. Toured around, I was young and fresh. You know, it seems bizarre now that a lot of you are older than I was back then. I was thinking during the week leading up to this, I wanted to do something a bit different. Something I hadn't. This is a true story. Every last word of it. I mean, sure, there are bits which maybe didn't happen exactly as I say, but it's as close to pure truth as any book is ever likely to get. It's a scary story, so you might not believe it's real. I know I never believed horror stories when I was little. My mum and dad used to tell me there were no such things as monsters. They said only silly boys and girls let themselves be frightened by books or films. Well, I didn't want to look silly, so I told myself they were right, even though I always suspected they weren't. Grown-ups think they know it all. Well, they don't. If you're the sort of person who doesn't like scary stories, you better stop reading right now, because this is about as scary as it gets. It would be scary enough if it was just made up, but knowing it's real, and that all this really happened, terrifying. Even if you do like horror books, you might be a little shocked by this one. You see, it's not like other books. This one isn't made up, so it isn't safe. Most books are safe. The good guys win, and the monsters get their butt kicked. This book, well, let's just say it's not like any other you've ever read. You'll see what I mean later on. It's a bloody book. I used to like stories with lots of blood and gore in them when I was little. People getting their heads chopped off, and their bellies ripped open, and their guts spilt out. That was my idea of a good time. All the same, I've tried not to make this too gory. It's frightening enough the way it is, without adding any extra spicy details. But it's a chilling tale, there's no doubt about that. There's lots of blood and bits that'll give you goosebumps, and maybe even a nightmare or two. And that's just the way it is. I don't want to gross you out, but in some places, it simply can't be helped. That's the problem with truth. Sometimes it's ugly. One more thing before I start into the story. My name isn't really Darren Shan. I know I said everything was true, and it is, except for the names. I've had to change the names because, well, by the time we get to the end of this book, you'll know the reason. Secrecy is a must. I haven't used any real names. Not mine, not my sister's, not my friends or teachers. Nobody's. I'm not even going to tell you the real name of my town or country or anything. I daren't. I can't give away any information which might help certain people track me down. You'll see what I mean when I get to the end of the book. Anyway, that's enough of an introduction. I don't want to bore you to death before the story starts. I hate introductions normally, but I felt it was necessary this time. I had to warn you before you began, to give you a chance to get out. Like I said, if you're the sort who gets easily scared, stop now. Close these covers, put this down, go watch telly, or read a nice safe book. This isn't a story for cowards. But if you're brave enough and ready, let's begin. If this was a made-up story, it would begin at night with a storm and owls hooting and rattling noises under the gate. But this is a real story, so I have to begin where it really started. It started in a toilet.
So he opened the floor for questions, and I was the first one to be called on. And my question was in relation to both the movie and the books. So I rewatched the Saga of Darren Shan movie the night before, and I noticed the characteristics that Gaviner portrayed in the film were similar to the character of Wester Fleck in the Saga of Lantern Crapsley. So I asked if, that was the inspiration for the character of Wester Fleck. And this is the answer that I got.
strictly speaking brothers, but they're like brothers, and his best friend and confidant. No, that had nothing to do with Wester. I never knew much about Mr. Crepsley's background when I was writing the Saga Shan. Even when I was writing the first couple of books, I wasn't even sure whether he was going to be a hero or a villain, because it was all told from the point of view of Darren, and we only got to know him as Darren got to know him. And I had a feeling he was going to be a good guy, but I wasn't sure. There was the possibility that he would become the antagonist in the series. And even throughout the books, I never really learned much about him, because Darren didn't ask those sorts of questions. They had a father-son relationship, and it's very different to a friend relationship, where you ask all sorts of questions. We don't really question our dad's stuff much, I've ever done, and I don't think my friends do either. So I never knew much about him. And I hadn't planned to write any more books in that universe. When I finished the Saga around Shan, I thought, that's it. I'm normally very sceptical about prequels and sequels, because usually they're just done for the money. They're easy cash in, and writers do it because that's what's selling, they get pressure to do it, and they have to. So normally, it's not something I do. But a few years after I'd written it, I kept thinking about Mr. Crepsley. He wouldn't go away, and I was working things out about his background. Initially just for myself. But how did he become a vampire? Why did he walk away from the vampires when he did? There were certain little nuggets we knew about him. And there was enough there that it sort of itched at me. And I kept thinking and thinking. I realised eventually I'm going to have to write that to figure it out. And so Wester developed out that explaining. The key of it was, why did he leave the clan when he did? Because we knew from the books he'd always become a vampire prince, but he walked away. And that was a dramatic moment. I'd written it without meaning anything, but sometimes friends will ask me, would you ever go back and rewrite the Saga around Shan, but from the point of view of Steve Leonard? I think it's a great idea. It's not. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because as a reader, you know all the dramatic beats. Stories work in a certain way. You have to have something there to really grab you and interest you. It has to be what happens next to keep you reading. If you know what happens next, you're not going to like it, just because it's told from a point of view of a different character. But with Mr. Crepsley, we didn't know a lot of things, so that allowed me to go back and write it. But no, it was a Wester, not conscious. When would I have written it? No, I would have seen the film, but no, it wasn't. I wasn't that fond of it. I loved Willem Dafoe, and I thought he was a fun character, but he wasn't my Gavin Pearl. Very, very different. So I'm pretty sure even on a subconscious level, that wasn't part of it.
Yeah, because I love the film. I'm the one who made that YouTube video. I'm finally allowing myself to love this movie. So.
Yeah, I like the film. I've always said it. I do actually enjoy the film. I had nothing to do with the making of it, as is probably clear from how. I read the script and I hated the script. I didn't even. I was supposed to go out and visit the set. I didn't go because I just didn't want to be saying I liked it when I thought I was going to hate it.
Yeah.
When I saw the finished film, I did actually enjoy it. I think in its own terms, it worked well. I think if I read the script, I was going to distance myself from it. So when I went in to watch it, I knew it was going to be very, very different, and I was able to see it in the third person as something separate from me. And I liked it in its own terms. But there's a team at the moment in the States and Canada working on trying to redevelop it as a TV series. And hopefully that will be more. Well, I've read the first couple of scripts and it is more faithful. It still does different things, but it is much more about character and spirit of the book. So hopefully, if that gets to go ahead, we'll see a more faithful adaptation.
Fingers crossed.
I've got a soft spot for the movie because I should like it.
I still do.
Okay, any questions over here? Yeah.
Okay, so I am finally home from the event. That's lopsided. So I'm finally home from going up to see Darren Shan, and it was everything that I had built up in my head of how it was going to go. It was amazing getting to actually meet the man for the very first time, because even I said it to him, that technically this is my second time going to one of his events, but the first time was I didn't know who he was. It was my school that went up, and it was through that event that put him on my radar. Through Lord Lost, which was a failed read, as I mentioned, and then into the Saga of Darren Shan, which, as you know, I've done reviewed half of the books. The other half is coming out in July, August, because I have something big planned. Well, I say big plan for June, but yeah, it was amazing. The fact that I was also the first question he answered, because as soon as I knew that they was going straight for questions, my hand shot up because I had to, because I rewatched the movie last night, the Saga of Darren Shan, which I've also done a video on, and there's something that I clocked. I was like, oh, I wonder if that influenced that. So let me ask that, and I did, and it went really well, and then even going up to get all of this signed, was amazing. And then I asked him another question that I had originally planned to ask until I rewatched the movie last night. So to kind of go over what I got signed, because I could only have one thing personalized, and one of the things is for a friend as well. So obviously, I had to get my Blu-ray signed, because yeah, I made my video saying I'm finally allowing myself to love this movie. A couple of years ago, that was scripted. That he tweeted out and even made a blog post about. And I'm sure once I tweet this out, it'll probably end up happening again. Then, of course, I did get the 25th anniversary edition of Cirque du Freak signed, which is my second copy of this, because I bought one before I even knew that these events were going to happen. So, yeah. Then, of course, the one that I got personalized was Tunnels of Blood, which I've mentioned in my review, that this is what got me into reading. This was it. So, of course, I needed to get this one personalized because it's my favorite book in the franchise. But as I said, it holds a lot more sentimental feelings to me. And inside, there is a sort of business card, which is definitely going to be stuck up on my wall somewhere behind me. I do need to get these books because I haven't read them, and they're from his pseudonym that he for the adult books that he releases, called Darren Dash. So we have one for Midsummer Bottom, which I'm going to need to keep my eye out for. The same with Sunburn, and then Another Place. So those are all definitely going to be stuck up on the wall. And so here's the personalized message that he put in, which is, to Michael, tread softly in the tunnels of blood. Monsters are on the foul. With a bunch of exclamation marks and a little frowny face there, which is awesome. I'm very happy about that, the fact that I got that done. And then, of course, I got my second favorite book in the series signed, which this one wasn't personalized. A lot of these weren't personalized, so you're only allowed to get one. So that's why it had to be Tunnels of Blood for me. Then for the Demonata, of course, I got Beck signed. There it is. So that's the third. This is the second, and then this is the third in the Demonata that I have signed by Darren Shan. There is Blood Beast, and then I thought I brought up Birth of a Killer, and it wasn't until I took all the books out and then I got home, I was like, oh no, I left that one home, the first book of the saga of Larrington Crepsley. But I did get Brothers to the Death signed. And then from the Zombie series, I got my two favorites, as I said in the beginning of the video, Zombie Clans, and then Zombie Family, which is the hardback edition, like so. And then the last thing that I got signed is for a friend, so I'm going to give that to him because I have this as a spare copy. So I brought that up with me, and I asked if he could personalize it to that friend, and he thankfully did. So yeah. And you've seen the photos that I took, as well as the video throughout the event, and I have to say, I'm so glad that I went. The moment, because I was hovering, waiting for the details to be confirmed for this event, because I knew the moment that it was, and if I needed to buy tickets, I was buying my ticket no matter what the price was. thankfully it was cheap enough. Now I did buy a book there in chapters because as I showed off, one of the things I didn't show off because I didn't look at it straight away was we also got a €5 gift voucher. So I got, speaking of vampires and stuff, I bought this beautiful Bram Stoker's Dracula book there. It was €15, and then with my fiver off, I got this for a tenner. And then if I open up this, we see Vlad's castle, or Dracula's castle. And then if I turn it to the end, we see the mob going to lynch him. Now, I've never read Dracula, so that's why I saw it there. I was like, yep, that. And then as soon as I saw the price and I was going to get a fiver off, I was like, haha, that's coming home with me. Anyway, that is going to wrap up this video. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Because this video is just for me. As a Darren Shan fan, the fact that I got to finally meet the man, one of my heroes, I'm so happy about. And yeah, that is going to wrap this video up. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all on Friday for the regular viewers of mine. I'll see you all on Friday for yet another discussion video. And I'll catch you all. Actually, no, sorry. That's next week. This week is another book review. This Friday is another book review, and that is for the novelization of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So I'll see you all on Friday for that one.